Medfit Rehab founder Joanne James is a medical exercise specialist. Medfit Rehab, restoring strength and movement, making a difference in people's lives. 647-259-5481. Columbus Center, Athletic Department, Dufferin and Lawrence, medfitrehab.com. Is staying healthy becoming too expensive with personal trainers, gym memberships, massages, and supplements? Then Joanne James, medical exercise specialist, and her dedicated team have exciting news for you. Imagine a healthcare plan that saves you money on personal and group training and gives you premium access to medical professionals. That's what Medfit Rehab can offer you. In the Columbus Center, Dufferin and Lawrence, call today to learn more. 647-259-5481, medfitrehab.com. Hi, Joanne. How are you this morning? Nice to have you back.
Thanks, Zelda. I hope you're doing great today.
We're doing great, and we have a little extra time for you this morning, so we're going to use that as well. Okay, so exercise that you stay active with without causing joint pain. That's a heavy-duty question and answer.
Yeah. I guess it depends on how you want to interpret it, because I look at it sometimes two ways. One way, if you have pain because you've got low back problems, knee problems, any kind of joint problem, then there are exercises that you can do that would, really minimize or reduce pain. And then you could look at it from the point of view of, well, what exercises can I do that would actually, really reduce or not cause any joint pain? And it's kind of fairly general. Which one do you like? You can go on any one.
Well, I don't really know. I know yesterday that I was doing the rowing. Okay.
Right.
And one of the trainers just walked by me, and I just said, "Am I doing this right?" And he said, "Well, you should be doing it this way." And I thought, my God, think of all the exercises we do that are wrong, the way we're doing it, which would cause us all kinds of joint pain.
Exactly. So if we come from that point of view, yes. The way to actually minimize or reduce joint pain are to do exercises, but you have to do the exercises in proper alignment and with proper technique. And that's where a lot of injuries come from, other than, say, physically the person may have a short leg and therefore over years they end up with, low back problems and knee issues. Other than that, the majority of the people and most of the problems come from poor technique, poor alignment. When a person's doing an exercise, they're not sure how to do it, so they just do it anyhow. And then, as you said, am I doing this right? I don't know. And you can ask a trainer, and they may or they may not know how to do it right as well. Not everybody knows how to do exercises correctly.
Well, it was already in the process. I would have asked you, but I was already in the process because you're at the Columbus Center. But I was already on the rower, and I thought, hey, I wonder if I'm doing this right. And he gave me one tip that made all the difference. But I could feel your knees would hurt or something would happen if you're not doing any of these exercises properly.
Absolutely, and that's why one of the things that I recommend is if you're somebody that's never exercised before, or you're unfamiliar with weight training equipment or how to use a bike, a treadmill, a cross trainer, an elliptical, a rower, always seek advice first. Find a professional, a fitness professional who is trained on how to show people how to use the equipment. It's better to learn it right the first time than to be doing it for days, months, years, and then find out that you've been doing it incorrectly. And over that period of time, you ended up with, a bad knee, a bad shoulder, a bad back, or you're not even getting the results you're looking for, because unless you do it properly, you're not going to benefit from using that piece of equipment or doing that particular exercise.
All right,
and that would be the number one thing.
All right, so that means that before you assess a person, then you assign specific exercises, you would make sure that they are doing it right from the onset.
Absolutely. Once they've been assessed and then it's been determined what is best for them, then you design the program for them, and then you actually put them through the program. You demonstrate each one of the exercises. You make sure you modify it so that they can do it in the proper manner. But you should always get a demonstration. You should never walk into a gym facility, just hop on a piece of equipment and say, hey, I think this is how I do it. This is what I'm going to do. it's far more worth it to pay somebody to show you how to do that exercise correctly. Because the other thing I find is a lot of people are on equipment and doing exercises that are inappropriate or wrong for what their goals are, or if they have a joint problem or a health problem, they should not be doing that exercise at all. So
well, what they can do is they can cause themselves much more injury than they ever thought. I mean, when you look at a lot of people in the gym, you're going to find, Joanne, that a lot of them are limping or they have braces on their knees.
Yeah.
And you think to yourself, you're here doing exercise. How come you're injured?
Well, I can understand why they're injured, because they're injured maybe because of something that they've been doing incorrectly. You know, injuries can take years to develop, or they can just happen just like that. So that person has probably been exercising for a while. Say, I'll use for an example, somebody who runs. Let's just say biomechanically they've got flat feet, they've got knocked knees, they have a low back problem. But you know what? They insist, and I'm not saying they have all of them. They could have one or two of these things. It doesn't matter. But they insist on, say, running, okay? So the problem with that is running is a very intense activity that has a high-risk component to it because it's so high intensity. If you have any one of those types of joint issues or a problem, probably you should not be running. But if you're addicted to running or you feel that that's what's going to get you the best results, you'll run. But then they end up wearing braces for their knees, braces for their ankles, or they end up limping because they're doing something that's actually not right for them. So that is a very common issue, a common problem. And they sometimes don't understand that, no, just because running is good for you doesn't mean that it's good for you. It could be good for someone else who's got probably good biomechanical joints and have no problem with that, but not necessarily for you.
What about women runners? We see a lot of, these special, what do they call, marathons. You see them all over, and people are running. Are they running because they want to prove to themselves that they can, or is it because they're very good at that specific sport like running?
I'm going to joke, but sometimes I think they're running to get away from something, and it's just a way of doing it, right?
You're kidding.
However,
okay.
No, sometimes it's true. Sometimes people have problems and issues, and they need something to do to help them forget, and so it becomes sometimes a psychological, but that's a whole new different discussion.
It's important, though, because it's very interesting, because a lot of us, when you're depressed or down, you find something to occupy your mind and your body. And so that's what you're saying is absolutely right.
Sometimes it can be that. Now, the issues I have for women running is, and men and women, I think at a certain point it's high risk to run. Women, I say after the age of menopause, I'm not sure how great an idea it is to start running. Most times by the time we reach menopause and over 50, we have some sort of biomechanical issue. We have a knee issue, a back issue, a neck issue, a hip issue. And so that's not a good time to start running, because that's, to me, more of a young person's activity. Also, if you have low bone density, osteoporosis or osteopenia, after the age of or after menopause, not a great idea to start. In fact, they don't recommend it for women that are postmenopausal. So women, I think, have to think very carefully if they want to pick up running as a form of exercise or activity to get whatever goals that they're looking for, because it's not necessarily an appropriate activity at a certain age.
All right. Well, it sort of makes you feel depressed if that's the case, but you don't see an awful lot of older women running. It's true. You see a lot of younger women running, but there are ways to, I'm sure through your expertise, you could come up with something that would make people feel as good as they were running doing something else.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. That's our job.
Well, that's what you're going to continue to do. Thank you very much for joining us. We were at a little later time, but we did have a lot more time this morning. So
Great.
We'll look
Much
forward.
Appreciated.
Good. We'll look forward to talking with Michelle. We won't be here on Monday. Okay?
Okay.
Because Monday is a holiday, Jewish holiday. We'll resume. We put this all into effect, but we'll be back on Tuesday, so we'll talk to you on Tuesday.
Fantastic.
Okay?
You have a great holiday.
Thank you so much, Joanne James. Bye. Joanne James, founder and medical exercise specialist of Medfit Rehab, will improve your overall health through medical exercise. Contact Joanne James, 647-259-5481, Columbus Center Athletic Department, Dufferin and Lawrence, medfitrehab.com.